All right, so the goal of today's lecture, basically, I'm going to go over tactics of how to draw the grid. Now, I've actually gone up on the board and I've drawn out a little bit ideas of what's going on. Let me just bring up Paint just quickly. The idea here is that I'm going to use pink for the axis. Line. So here's our Y, here's our X. Any idea we've got one, let's do 3, 4, and I'm going to do another yellow here. And these actually, should I do a different color for these? All right, so the yellow bit, this pink basically is going to be our axes. These brown are individual lines, and then the yellow is what I've been calling the division line. So when I have a division count equal to 5, basically every fifth line I'm going to draw that line with a different color. Let's go back. We go back to, where is it? Work folder. Okay. There we go. So we can bring this back up again. Zoom in. Again, you can see, again, I'm going to zoom in. Here's the yellow. So the axes are in white. I've got individual lines that are slightly thinner. And then I've got, so again, here I've got division count of 5. And I think I've got the grid size here is about 10 to 20 pixels. So basically this is 1 on this grid. This is 2 on the grid, 3 on the grid, 4 on the grid, 5 on the grid. We know that the division is basically, so basically there's I'm going to see, C is my counter. If that's equal to 0, that's my axis. C modulus equals to 0 is going to generate the division line. Basically, it's also C modulus division, also C is not equal to 0. So those are the two things that make a division line in this case. And that's basically, again, when we deal with that, we'll have to jump in. So let's jump in with code. Here is my JavaScript. First thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab these 2 classes. And I'm going to define them here. I don't need any of these guys at the moment. Wait, I do have a point. Oh, here's the point. I do need the draw line. Let's go back to Java. This, and then I need the set interval. We'll come back and do event listeners. I'll leave this in for right now. Function update. Well, let's start with let's create a class to hold our information. I'm just going to call it grid 2D. So let's bring up the document. This is the wrong class. There we go. So the first two things, all right, so it needs a screen size and an origin. So I'm gonna pass them independent of the X and Y independent of each other. So there'll be screen size X. I need the full. We also want to spend. So we're also going to pass the origin X, origin Y, and then let's go back to the document. We need the grid size. Division count. I'm going to pass on the minimum division count for right now. We'll come back. This we'll add later on. And we'll also add the origin. Okay, so let's grab all of these. We're gonna so we're basically going to do this equals the same variable. Yeah, I know. Yeah, let me. Get all of this. So one of the things I am going to do, so we'll start up here, we'll do a variable, we'll call it draw grid to new grid 2D. All right, so screen size. So we know we're gonna, let's go back to our HTML. We set our canvas 500 by 500. So I'm just gonna plug those values in right here. We could in theory start with it being, grabbing that data. I'm just gonna type it in for right now. We know the origin, we're gonna start with the origin at 250 by 250. I should actually grab you. Let's move you up. I'll come back to this one moment. I gotta, well, hold on, it's yelling because, hold on, let's put it down here. Here we go, that's what it's yelling about. Okay, grid size, again, I'm gonna start with 20. Again, division count of 5. And then finally the 0.6 is the origin size. So why is it yelling about it?
It doesn't like not having a 0 in front of the decimal.
Thank you. All right, we are going to write a function here. We're going to be a function. And we'll just basically so basically we have this set up already for us. All right. All right, again, the first thing that we will do is will be a var I'm going to call it the index for right now. It's not necessarily the index, but give us a good way to start. Let me see. We also then want to set up a point. Yeah, we'll just put it 2, 0, 0. Okay, so what is the local point? Basically, this is basic. So later on, we will need to deal with the fact that we're moving, that the origin may be not at 250 by 250. We're going to start with that at this moment right now. But basically, where local point is basically going to establish where the x and y of where we're drawing is going to be. Actually, not a local point, it should be a local offset. Okay. We'll then, one of the things we'll do is we'll start with our, where we're drawing basically is the local offset plus or minus the x or y value, so from our origin. This will become, as I write more code, this will become more evident what's going on. Basically, we are going to do a while. So I also I want to do a var is still drawing is equal to true. And I'm basically going to have a while is still drawing, and I'm going to do equal. And because it's JavaScript, I am going to use the triple equal sign. And I'm basically going to grab, for right now, is equals drawing is equal to false. So we're going to draw once for now. We will come back. We'll come back later, and this will get altered as we move on. So don't worry at the moment. So so what we want to do. Let me see. There's a couple more variables I need to set up. Draw line color. I'm gonna leave this outside of the grid for right now. We're gonna do a var axis color. White. Vision color. Oh, one sec. Let me get this. I'll take a question. And then normal. All right, Kyle, you had a question. Go. I'm gonna go in var axis width. We'll set that to 3. Actually, I'm gonna do 4, 2. So basically, I'm setting up the colors and the widths right here. I'm going to keep these in global space. Ideally, later on, I'll move these into the constructor. So basically, what we're doing is that every time we go through, here's the function. Here is this function right here in the for loop. Basically, the first thing that we need to determine if, so basically, if index is equal to 0, I'm going to draw the axis. And we're going to use, it will return. We can then do if index. So we want to wrap this into its own little parentheses. This is going to be drawGrid dot division count. That's equal to 0. I'm going to be doing here, we're going to set up 2 more variables, var, yeah, I'm just going to call it line, color, So I'm going to assume right away default basically line color is equal to normal color. Line width is going to be equal to normal width. Actually, I'm not going to use the return in this case. I'm going to grab, so we'll set, yeah, we don't need to, so these will be set to the axis color. There you go, axis width. So every time I go through here right now, basically, I will be checking, hey, I'll just default to the normal color. If my index is 0, then I will set these two values to basically draw, draw the draw color and the draw width to what it needs to be. And then I've got the axis, the division count. That's, again, if every fifth one, that's equal to 0. Oh, I gotta go back into index not equal 0. There we go. I also have to put the index. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna do one pass right now. Just do the index, just to get things up and going. Let's save. This should be. Yeah, good. There's nothing here. All right. All right. So basically, we're gonna draw. Two lines to start off with. So let's go grab the draw line. All right, X start, X, Y. So let's go back. Let's look at our here. Let's grab a different color. So this is going to be Y is 0. Screen height. So if we're saying here we want a line from here down all the way down to here. So we'll start with the Y axis. So X start basically is going to be our we're going to start with the origin. Drawgrid.origin X. I'm just going to bring this down so I can X start, Y start. So it's going to be the origin dot X. We're going to draw from the top down, left to right. So in this case, the Y start is going to be 0. Now, we can talk about what we may do later on. XN is still going to be the drawgrid.origin.x. In this case, it's going to be the screen draw grid, screen size Y. And then we have line color, line width, and we created those variables. Line color, line width. Try to get more space here. Save. Grid. What? Why is it not drawing? Copy. Let's go back to our grid. Let's put in span ID. And let's just grab, I know in one of these, the Dropbox, yeah. I just grab the border element here. Let's apply it just so that we have better understanding. There we go. What we're dealing with. Okay. So let's go in. What did I call it? Debug tags. Okay, so it is dealing with that correctly. That's fine. Why is this not working? Okay. We're struggling with the interface. Do you know what I'm doing wrong? I'm drawing white on white. There we go.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah, that's why I can't see it, because I'm drawing white on white.
I don't think white can be seen on white.
Yeah. So let's go back to line color. Let's go back up and set this to, and I've also am using these capital. Let's see. That may be an A in there, so we'll something to look at. Okay, there we go. So we are now drawing the y-axis correctly. So let's get the x-axis in. This is, again, we're going to start with the axes, and then we will do the next index. So this is going to be x. So this is, again, origin. So I'm going to flip these around. So it's going to be origin y. Oh. So 0 origin y, draw grid origin y, and I'm going to cut u, screen size x. Why are you not drawing the line now? 0, draw grid origin y.
The second origin y has to be capital. At the end.
There we go. This one. There we go. Thank you. Okay. So again, thank you. Again, little. This is why you might go over Visual Studio, start working with JavaScript. But here we go. So we got draw line. So we're drawing our grid to start off with. All right. So I'm going through on basically every frame doing this. For right now, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go. So if index is greater than, let's do 5 lines for right now. Oh, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not increasing the index. Hold on. Index plus plus. There we go. Okay. So again, why am I using a for loop instead of why using a while loop instead of a for loop? Because later on we will move the origin around. And by doing so, basically, we will get into a scenario where ultimately the scenario basically we'll end up in a scenario where we can't calculate how, like, we may have to draw over to one side of the screen and then draw more over the other side of the screen. So this is the for loop. The for loop will change based on that. Our for loop wouldn't account for how many lines we need to draw accordingly. So later on we'll do this. This is a placeholder. All right, that's basically, it's a placeholder for right now. And the idea here is that ultimately is that as we go through. We will do calculations later on to figure out if we are outside of the window space. So, all right, let's keep moving on. All right, I'm gonna jump up to the variables that we created, and I think I need to go. I just want the sake of argument. So I just want to basically make sure I'm drawing my multiple 12. Okay, so it is doing what I'm expecting it to do. Okay. We will come back later. So I'm gonna make another variable, var is drawing so let's grab this. Let's deal with the origin scenario as it stands right now. If I think did we do this? Let's do this. Let's do a variable. Just jump this down into here because we only need to draw it once. So down here, we will set this to so if drawing origin, and we'll draw origin, and we'll make sure this is just so we don't get wackiness in terms of the Boolean logic. I'm just going to wrap these. Okay, so we need, basically I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to use, because the rectangle has 4. So we'll do a var be equal to new rectangle 0. Axis offset will be equal to the axis offset is going to be equal to the draw grid grid size times draw grid there we go, origin size. Come on. All right. So what we can now do is basically diamond dot x is going to be the axis. Draw grid origin x plus axis offset so this is going to be the y origin dot y. This will be then down a y down here. This will be the height and width. And these are going to be minus the offsets. And that will be with this we'll be able to build the diamond effectively. So basically, let's see. So the points that let me make some. So the top basically is going to be origin X, and this is going to be the diamond Y. It's going to be diamond.h origin Y, the right it's going to be the diamond dot X origin Y. All right, so these are the four basically, we've now established the 4 points that we are going to use to draw. And then we can just go right in. Let's get the draw line. So again, there'll be 4 of these lines. So let's start from the left going up to the top. So that's going to be our diamond dot H. Draw grid origin Y. And then we're going to go up to origin.x, that's correct, and this will be the diamond. Dot Y. All right. Line color right now, I'm going to use, I'm going to throw in blue. I'm just going to do a color one. We can literally take, so we can take these 2 points and copy over these. I'm going to copy over these guys. All right, so we're going top to right, so this will be diamond.x, and then draw grid origin Y. Again, this is my next point, so I can copy these 2 over. So we're going to the bottom, so it will be origin.x, so that got correct. And then this will be diamond dot width. And we can grab these. So draw grid origin X, diamond W, draw grid. Again, we're coming now back up, so this is basically diamond. Origin X, yeah, So I'm coming back up to the left. There we go. So I'm just going to grab these 2 points. And we pop that open. We'll look at the grid. And I am... What did I do wrong? Origin, 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 origin X, origin Y. I think I pushed up there. It's not the... Version Y. It should be... One, two... Diamond X, origin Y. Origin X. X, Diamond W. Back. Origin X. Origin Y. Why did they get? I'm trying to figure out why the rectangle is screwed up. Oh, maybe I've got these backwards. You see something?
Yeah, but I also need to.
Well,
I think one of the Y values is at 0.
yeah, and I'm not sure why it's being set. That's getting set. Why that's being set to a 0. Just let's go to the grid size. Let's put this as a point. Let's give these all decimal points. I bet you that might something weird like that is happening. I'm gonna come back. Somehow this is getting a 0. should be Y. All right, diamond X. Diamond.
So,
No, that's correct. The X origin Y, that's correct. The origin X, diamond W. Should be Y. No, no X. No, there should be height. This is messed up. Should be W. I'm gonna come back and we'll there's something I gotta debug what's going on here. We are drawing the lines. We'll come back to those later on. I will come back and tell you what's going on with there at the moment. All right. Just so we're not looking at that, I'll just set this to false. All right. Let's get on to the other lines. So the local offset, basically what we need to do here is that on every, let me take out this console, we do need to set, the local offset dot X is going to be equal to the index times the grid size. Grid size. And then we're going to do the same thing so we're going to move out accordingly. That means what we are going to do down here is that for each other line, it's going to be the origin local offset dot X. Let me put that in parentheses. Why is it yellow? There we go. And we need to grab this and apply that here as well. And then we're going to do the same thing down here, but in this case we're going to be the origin Y, local offset dot Y. And then we'll apply that here as well. And you can see now I have started drawing several of the lines. So I've gone, so again, here is my origin. My points are going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't have, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do an index of 6. And you can see now I've drawn that division line. I'm going to go up, and yellow's not showing up very well, so I'm going to go in and replace that with the yellow with a red. There you go. So we can see that better. There we go. And we can go in, we can basically, let's do 11. You can see now I'm drawing down in this direction. All right, so now we need to draw the lines going up in this direction. That basically is not going to be hard to pull off. Let's go back to our lines. Like, we're going to grab these two right here. And these are all going to be basically where we added the local offset, we're going to subtract the local offset. Get that correct. Subtract the local offset. Nope, keep that as plus. This one is a subtraction. And that's subtraction. And you can see now I've got to draw. I'm drawing 4 lines. So let's go back. Let's bring this back down to index of just 2 for right now, just so we have a better. Do 3. Give you an idea. So I'm going here. So 0 is the axis. First line is this line right here. Let me just do 2. You can see that this line, these 2 lines right here are the axis positive. Here are the negative. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm drawing these 2 lines, then these 2 lines. So I'm going to go in, I think, 15 right now. And again, for your purposes for right now, doing like 15 right now is perfectly fine. Let's go in, let's go, where my line go? So let's do 2, 2, there we go. There we go, 3 feels good. So let's go in, and then right now my, so I got 20 right now. I'm going to do 10. You can see that they've contracted it. I'll do 30. So I've spread out my units. And I can do like 33. It's going to account for that accordingly. 50 units. So it's basically drawing on that. So here is again that grid size. This is something that we're going to control, pull in, pull out type scenario. Let's go back to 20. All right. Let's go to the wheel. And let's grab this out of here. So you can see this is trying to write the function in here. So this is going to be the wheel event handler. So if event delta y should have been where is I've got it in the drawing box. Handler, yup, mouse, handler, event delta y. Yeah. Why is that acting weird? Okay. Y is greater than 0. There we go. And then the draw grid. Do grid size equal to I'll do +1. Actually, I can just do yeah. less than 0, I will subtract 1. So again, like why again, I know the code is like big, it's complicated, it looks at first glance, but by giving these different pieces into the class, I have access. So let's save, we'll go to the grid. You can see right now I've got, I am drawing, yeah, so there's one thing I am not doing. Yep. Let's go back to Drawbox. Here's the update. Here's the clear rec. And where's the update? Here we go. There we go. So now I am actually doing this correctly. Now you can see as I scroll down, again, one of the issues is that, as I decrease my draw grid, that variable is failing. Like I have to check if my points are outside of the draw area of the screen. So this is what I'm looking for is that, hey, I need basically a point that's outside. Basically, it's outside of here on the X, and then it's on the positive on the over here. So let me. The other thing I can do is I can, if I go all the way, I can actually flip it around to be a negative grid. So here is basically my draw grid is 0. Here is 1. So there's some wackiness that you can do with the grid if you're not paying attention to it. That's where the if we go back up to the document where there's a minimum size, like minimum draw grid, and I think I set that to 2. That variable would be, again, as I basically I would be plugging this into a function based saying, hey, is my draw grid bigger? Is it smaller? If it's smaller than 2, set it to 2. I've gone this far so far. Is there any questions? Things that I should be going over?
Maybe. Oh, never mind. I get it.
You got it.
The origin, when you middle click, did you want us to like just move the origin or like move
Yeah, you're gonna
the
move the
whole
origin.
axis?
You're gonna move the origin to that point. That's the next thing I'm gonna do.
So you gotta move the whole axis too, right? Or is it just the
You're gonna move the origin. You're gonna move the origin to that point, and by moving the origin, all of the axes, everything else is gonna. Because remember, if we look at basically our drawing is based on the origin point. So if we move the origin point to a different location in the canvas, then we're gonna start in that location. So let's grab. Let's grab. In the drawing, did I do that? No, it's Drawbox. So I have a mouse. A mouse move. Where's the button? Here we go. So I'm just going to grab this for one moment. And then we are going to grab. What is the handler? Okay, here's the mouse down handler. Okay. And I'm going to just grab these just for one moment and drop these up. Let me see. Here's the draw grid. Yeah, so I'll drop these here. This is where my application is actually coming together. So offset X, offset Y. Again, we created, I believe. Let's go back to the grid, and we want to create this based on the canvas, not the page document. Basically, if we click inside the canvas, that's where we want it. So if we're not on the not in the canvas area, we want to ignore clicks. Basically, what we're going on. So where's the function now? It's down here, isn't it? All right. So this is going to be the jar grid dot origin. X is going to be the event offset X. Origin Y is equal to offset Y. Make sure I've done that. Lowercase. All right, so we go to the grid. You can see as I click, so as I click in that location, you can see that let's move this down. So here you go. So, I mean, this is the basic. Again, by having those variables built in, we were able to control where we're going, how we are. Again, I've got we can zoom in, zoom out. Again, we can go back to our JavaScript. And again, I'm going to put these right here. Is drawing axis, and then var is drawing Actually, I'm going to set these to false, just to make these clear what's going on. So again, we can go in and so go back to our draw function. So index is equal to 0, and is drawing axis is equal to true. In this case, now we've just taken out the axis. And then I'm going to go down here one more time, and we're going to add in and is drawing division is equal to true. And now I've just basically just taken out everything in terms of drawing. Now the axis is kind of getting, so the weird thing that's going on is that we are drawing the axis twice. So that's why it's coming in thicker. You can see that like it's thicker just by that. Go zoom in. Then we can go back in and assign these back to true. Yeah, I'm getting a 0. That's very weird. Why is that getting a 0? Rectangle 0, 0, 0. X plus y plus. Wait, y plus minus the offset. Why is it feeling here?
I think on 152 they use some different on the YN parameter.
I mean, this is the, I mean, it's diamond.h. Diamond H is 0.
Like right before blue, maybe it should be like origin X instead of Y.
That's not what I want. Why is this not working? That's. I'm gonna have to go in and debug this further. All right, so I'm just gonna save this. I'm gonna turn off the origin until I can figure out why that's not. It's very weird that that's causing an issue yeah. Again, there's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could let's actually make this simpler for us. We could cut this line of code out. Make sure I'm calling this correctly. Here we go. Is there anything I need to do that I haven't gone over with you in for this video? Do I need to go specifically of how to calculate? I mean, basically, you've got. Let's go back. Let's go to Paint for right now. Let's file new. Don't save. Okay, so let's make our box. All right, so we know this point is 0, 0, and down here is going to be our screen size X, screen size Y. So we have to check, there's 4 things that we have to check. Is that so there's the negative X, which is the origin. Let me clear that. Negative Y, which is going to be the origin Y. Sorry, this is Z. What am I doing? Not Z. We're not in 3 dimensions. Oh boy. There we go. X, offset X, minus offset Y, positive Y. That's the origin X plus offset X and positive Y. Let me clear this, get this right. So we need to know those 4 points, those 4 values. I'm going to go back and so what we're going to do is down here, we're going to do check if still okay, so basically if, so we'll do check negative X. So if draw grid dot origin X local offset. I need to move the local offset. Local offset now. Comment this line out. There we go. All right. Let's move the local offset. There we go. Okay, I need this scope greater than the drawing grid than in here. There we go. So the draw grid origin X minus the offset dot X is less than, and again, draw grid, we did set it up, draw grid dot screen size X. No, there's actually just less than 0. So var so I need to set these up with y, let's get the origin y minus local offset y. These are going to be greater than draw grid screen size X size Y. And then we can then do a if is still drawing. Let's grab is still drawing, promote that as well. Put it right here for right now. We need to I know what I need to do. Yeah, if actually what we'll do is we'll return negative X and negative Y and negative positive X. So basically, I'm saying all these need to be so if these are all true, it means that I'm outside of the drawing area. So I can, let's just put, we can what broke? Okay, is still drawing is equal to what broke? broke something. What did I break? Okay. I know the code should be correct. I've broke something else that's causing. There we go. So if I bring this back. All right, so I need to go do this next. Oh, I gotta. Oh, JavaScript. You out. This is annoying. Just gonna grab you. I'm just gonna. There we go. So it's still doing. So I need to figure out why this is not. I gotta go back and look. This is the direction you want to go. Basically, what I'm trying to do is basically assign. I'm trying to assign a Boolean to a variable. I may not. That may be. This might be. I'm trying to do something that I can normally do in C, C++, and C#, in Java, but I'm not sure I can do this in JavaScript. But the idea is I'm setting these variables. I'm asking if they're all true. If each of these values are outside of the range of of my draw area. Basically, I'm flipping if the result is true, then I'm flipping this to be false. This is not working despite this. This is not working for some reason. So, but at least right now I'm not breaking stuff when I'm writing my code at the moment. So, this is we'll come back. I think the scenario is. I think I need to do. I think I need to go and grab this. I think I gotta go in this direction, which is not where I wanted to go, but. still not doing what I want. I'll have to come back and figure out why this function is not doing, why this is failing on me at the moment. So maybe we'll do one more. Sorry, if excuse me. All right. Now I'm only drawing. Now it is okay. So I got to go back and look through. Yeah, so the code's working. I just I gotta go through and debug it. But let's go back to the. Let's go back. Let's just take this out for one moment. Again, you can crank this up again for debugging purposes. We can crank that like index to like 50, and this will help you deal with that. I mean, like, any questions for me? I gotta go through and figure out why that portion is. I need to debug that, but I'm coming to the end of the class at this point.
The lecture's gonna have sound this time, yes?
Yep. Microphone's recording in, and I've got the. If you want to see the micro, yeah, recording sound. Next question.
You got a microphone? Can I see? Or is it just?
Move on. Questions. Okay, I'm recording. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here. I'm gonna upload it. I've done something again. I've done something. Needs to be debugged, but that's a just go through and just you pound at it with put out the console.log, figure out what's going on. Same thing that's going on with the I've got another bug with the diamond for the origin as well. So.